What's up, everybody? Thank you so much for listening to Your Ex-Drinking Buddy. My name is Brennan Tassif. I'll be your host. Subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcast. Check out the merch store at brennantcomedy.com/merch-store. And make sure you subscribe on YouTube as well. We'll put the shorts up there, the full video, the whole thing. Thank you so much for listening. I love it. I hope you love it. Subscribe on Patreon, too. We do bonus episodes. I do Tales from the Restaurant, where I talk about celebrities I've waited on and whether they're assholes or not, which is super fun. Also, we do a pre-show banter for my other show, Cheers from the Press Box with Joe Dorville. A lot of behind-the-scenes stuff going on over there, too. Make sure you just subscribe everywhere, just all over the place. I greatly appreciate it. And if you're not leaving the mean comments, thank you for that. Maybe leave a couple nice ones.
Grab me a beer and grab me a coke. We bout to sit for an hour, bullshit and tell jokes. And please don't mix it up, cause he done sobered up. Brennan T Comedy on your social media feeds. And Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy.
What is up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of Brennan Tassif is your ex-drinking buddy. I'm your host, Brennan Tassif. If you're new to the program, quick rundown of the show. I used to be everyone's favorite drinking buddy. It was my favorite thing to do, hang out with friends, get drunk, do drugs, get in all sorts of trouble, and then reminisce about those crazy stories. I am sober now, but it's still one of my favorite things to do, hang out with somebody and reminisce about the crazy old days. Most weeks I'll be joined by a guest. This week is no exception. All the way from New York City, Nico Cattaneo.
Everyone going crazy.
And the crowd goes.
The crowd goes
wild.
absolutely fucking crazy. Can I swear on here? I
Yeah,
can swear,
fuck
right?
yeah.
Oh, let's fucking go, dude. Let's fucking go.
Dude,
All right.
what's up, man?
No, I don't know. I'm good. I took the train here. It's super hot. I've been reading
It's
a
very
book.
hot.
I'm reading
What
a
book?
book. I've been reading. It's called Mr. Splitfoot.
Okay.
Have you read that?
No.
Dude, I'm new on reading. Haven't read in a very long time. I don't know. It's like a new thing for me. But I read.
I'm new on reading.
I'm new on reading. I'm newly into it. But my friend that recommended this book to me, and it is dog shit. It is so bad.
What is it about?
I don't even know. It's like orphans, and then
Fiction?
There's also but it's
Okay.
dude, it's like the writing is so bad. Which is a crazy thing to say as someone who hasn't read it all. But I know.
Well, you're a writer. You write.
Yeah, but it's like I haven't read a book in
10
years since college. But the writing is brutal. So I'm kind of in that place where I'm 60 pages into it, and I'm like I don't want to read it so badly, but my friend recommended it, so I'm
you gotta.
So I'm like I gotta, and she's also like a really good friend that I feel like I don't want her to I want her to be like, yes, like
Yeah,
I wanna be like,
we can bond on
exactly.
this.
I want to be like, yeah, it was so good, but it's I'm like it's so trash. Yeah,
I only read historical nonfiction, really.
Strange. I like it. Yeah.
Because one of my majors was history, so I'm really
Okay.
into it, and so a lot of the books people get me are basically history textbooks.
Big fucking history textbooks. Yeah.
And the tomes that I take on the subway. But it is interesting you talk about because a lot of the books I read they read like a textbook, and I like that because it's like I just want the information.
Yeah.
I don't need you to gussy
Man,
it up.
you must be so fucking smart.
And then,
dude, I'm so jealous. Anytime I meet someone, because I could never read properly, even in school and stuff.
Yeah.
I would get books and I would just pretty much comb through that. I'd just be like, yeah, I'm reading, whatever. And then every time I meet especially a comic who's yeah, I really like information. I'm so jealous.
well, that's the thing is I'm not a big
so jealous of information.
I don't read. I'm not a big reader.
Yeah.
My girlfriend devours books.
Yeah.
But I'm not a voracious reader.
Yeah.
I just like to know things.
Yeah, it's
like
so
the old
cool.
Tyrion Lannister line. I drink and I know things.
What is the Tyrion Lannister line? See, I'm so fucking
It's
jealous.
it's from Game of Thrones.
so
I
jealous.
drink and I know things.
Okay.
And that used to be my life. Was I would just be the smartest dude at the end of the bar, being like, "You fucking idiot," when I was drinking all the time.
Yeah.
But it is interesting to your point about bad writing. My girlfriend's mom got me a book. It's called 1861. It's just about that year and before the nation split up and the Civil War and all this stuff. But I'm used to reading textual style books,
Yeah.
where it's just the information. This fucking guy is like trying to gussy it up,
spruce it up.
So much imagery and like it was a warm, blistering hot summer
Dude,
day
yeah.
down in Washington. And I go,
and you read it in that voice too.
yeah, of
it's
course,
always,
like that southern,
you're
I do declare.
Isn't it funny though? It is crazy. Like I feel like sometimes you read a book, you read a textbook, and you're like, okay, Wikipedia. I'm just like, meh. You just go through it, whatever. As soon as someone starts adding any kind of adjectives or anything for color, you start giving them a voice.
Oh yeah,
you're in your voice.
I didn't even think about that.
Like,
You're absolutely
I
right.
the book I'm reading right now, it's really overwritten. So I feel like the problem is that the big words are it's got big words in all the wrong places.
Yeah.
And so I just read it, and the whole time I'm like, every single like that's
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it's like
Well,
it'll
listen
be,
here, you guys.
It's just like, and she sipped her curdlingly hot coffee as the summer moon blow.
it was like it's like oh.
It's like that guy from Minkus from Boy Meets World.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
immediately
dude,
what I
it's-
thought
yeah.
of when he started doing that voice. Yeah.
Phosphorus water slipped through the stream in a place which
It was like, what are you saying, dude?
Yeah, I can't, and I feel bad because my girlfriend's mom got it for me, and it's good. It has a lot of information.
You got to, and she's gonna quiz you on it too.
But I'm just
She's
reading
gonna
through
quiz
it
you
like
on it, yeah.
I don't need to know about how much better the life of like rich people was than poor people.
that's not
in this
interesting.
kind where they're like
That's not
they
interesting.
had feasts of pork and rib and cow, and I'm like, yeah, the wealthy people ate better than the poor. Like I get it.
Yeah, it's
I
one
get
sentence.
it.
Yeah. Yeah.
So to your point, there are
Shut
books
up.
where I'm like, oh man, but then now we're in the same boat. We're like, well, we have to. There's going to be a test at the end of the semester on this.
It is crazy that you went to like an old Southern prospector like immediately.
Yeah.
Because I don't think that's not a voice that I knew like an old Southern lawyer like a
because he's
foghorn
talking about
leghorn
like
guy.
DC in the summer and the
Yeah.
heat, so I immediately go
sweltering
because I'm
heat.
from the South, so I immediately go to like the Southern like.
Yeah, that
Well, I
rocks.
do declare.
Do
I was
declare.
having a conversation with someone. I don't even know if I should say this on air, but I will because I don't care.
Because we're crazy. We
John
don't care.
Brown is my favorite abolitionist.
Okay.
You don't know? Do you know who that is?
I know John Brown. He's the white guy.
Yes.
Who led a violent protest. I
Very
wanna say.
violent raid.
Very violent. Look at that. Look who knows things now.
that you-
Look who knows things
Let's
now.
go.
Look at me. What a deep. That's a kind of a deep
That-
pull,
that's a
right? Are you
super
impressed?
deep pull.
Are you
I'm
impressed
very
that I know what that
impressed.
is?
I
Are
was
you
getting
impressed that I
ready
know
to
what that is?
mansplain the shit out of you. And you were
Yeah,
like,
but not
yeah,
today.
he read a-
Not today. We're just two white guys knowing the white abolitionist. All right. That's
Well,
right.
that's kind of the. It's not a bit, but that's kind of the funny thing is like because the Civil War was my emphasis, and I'm like this John Brown guy is legit, and my
Yeah.
buddy who lives in the South is always like, really, your favorite abolitionist is the one white guy that
Yeah.
everybody knows from
Yeah.
history. But his thing was he cut slave owners in half with a broadsword. He was like really into Old Testament. He was a reverend.
That's I think also a villain from fucking Kingsman.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
they do that in
the
Kingsman?
girl? Yeah,
The girl, she'd be cutting people in half.
But that was his thing, and I remember I was texting with a friend of mine who also lives in Florida, and she's very progressive, and I was like, could you imagine like being a slave owner and sitting on your porch, like drinking a mint julep in the sweltering summer heat, and then you just see this crazy guy
Yeah.
come out of the fucking woods with a broadsword.
So sick.
And I was like, like, what would go through your mind? And her very first response was, no, Brennan, I could not imagine being a slave owner. And I was like, that's not what I was going. That's not the point I was trying to
That's
make.
awesome. Dude, that's such a great... Dude, there's such an unnecessary dunk on you, too. You know,
I
there's
know.
Such an unnecessary...
Because she's incredibly smart. And we
Yeah,
have these
exactly.
philosophical conversations
Imagine
all the time.
No,
Actually.
I couldn't imagine being a slave owner, but you clearly could.
That's exactly what she said. I'm like, this is a philosophical like debate about like the way he handled how he was like so adverse to slavery, how he handled it was through violence. That's the conversation I wanted to have, not the, well, no, actually, as a matter of fact, I couldn't imagine it because I'm a good person.
Sorry, I can't come with you to Fantasyland. I'm actually
And I literally
I'm
go-
so grounded in reality that I
It's
can't.
called your imagination.
Yeah. I said, imagine you were this.
Yeah.
Not, hey, you are...
Wouldn't it be awesome if we were?
Yeah,
That's not what
wouldn't
I
it be-
said.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And especially because in that scenario, we would be getting cut in half. So it's bad all around.
Yeah, it does make me think about like it would be cool. Just like you said a very scenic little. I saw that. I don't know if
I
you
saw
saw
your
that
eyes
also.
lit up as soon as I
went,
did
dude,
it.
You went. Imagine you're standing on your porch drinking a mint julep on
a
the sweltering.
sweltering.
And I saw it, dude. I saw someone standing there and like the rickety
the
white
wood, yeah.
painted wood.
'Cause that's
with the
that's
whatever.
immediately what I think
And then
of.
I saw like a tree line on the forest and like someone stepped alone got whatever. And
We're
it just,
world builders, man. What
yeah,
can I
we're
say?
just world builders.
That's what
We're
we
telling
do.
stories.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
I actually get in a lot of trouble for telling. Well, not trouble, but like people, like bookers and stuff, are always like, "Yeah, you're more of a storyteller," and I'm like, "Thank you. It took me a long time to work on this." And they go, "Yeah, that's not New York comedy," and I'm like, wah, wah,
Really?
wah, 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 wah. Yeah, I had it happen a couple of times when I first moved here, and then a good friend of mine who now lives in LA, but a good friend of mine. Matt Fulshron, I talk about him all the time on the show. He's like my mentor, and he was like, "Yeah, you know, I tour the world like featuring and opening for people who were considered storytellers, like Tom Segura." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that's true. There is a lane for everybody."
Yeah.
But I remember when I first moved here, they were like, "Yeah, less words."
Yeah, it's I don't know, the rhythm of New York is weird.
Yeah.
I do feel like sometimes I go to other places and I do comedy and I watch them and I go and they have a kind of just they have a different rhythm and I go, "Oh wow, I didn't even know that because I
Take
think
their time
I'm
and-
naturally not a very New Yorky comic."
Yeah.
Where I'm not like I'm just not a very good writer. As we've I think established earlier or whatever, even though I'm talking all this game, but so I think like it's interesting to watch even my act change into a much punchier, quicker.
Well, that's the whole thing.
That kind of thing.
I'll look at this great comic in Jacksonville, Chris Buck. Shout out Chris Buck.
Shout out Chris Buck.
He
Can we just take a moment? Shout out Chris Buck.
Chris Buck,
Chris
ladies
Buck,
and
yeah.
gentlemen. Let's.
He's and that's a guy that I don't even know I don't know who that is.
He's
and I don't know who that is.
Very great comedian. Very good writer. He has like literally stacks of like tomes with his jokes.
Yes.
That's the second time I used that. I
Yeah,
gotta
that
stop using
second
it.
tome is crazy.
but,
tome makes me think of Skyrim, dude.
Yeah,
Fucking
fuck yeah, dude,
learning
that's my
spells.
game.
You're
Are
learning
you kidding
spells
me?
from a tome, yeah.
What do you know about Skyrim? Let's
I don't know.
go.
I honestly nothing. It's a game that came out when I was like effectively a child.
Yeah.
And so I played it as a child, and that means that it had
love
probably
that
a
game.
massive impact on me, but I don't remember anything.
It won Game of the Year like from every company that year.
Yeah, I mean,
I
it's
still
crazy.
play it.
It's
To this day, I
crazy.
still play it.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm like, it's crazy. They've been working on the new one of that for like a decade.
Yeah.
I feel like they've been working on it so long that new consoles are coming out and they have to start over. 'cause it's like-
Every time I
they're
play
like,
The Witcher or Skyrim, I'm always like, there's a sequel coming out. Like, I thought I heard that. And then I look it up and it's like, been in development for 7 years.
They
and you're like,
entirely
"God damn it."
skipped PlayStation 4.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's true. I didn't
Entirely
even think about
skipped PlayStation 4. They said, we'll make a game for PlayStation 3, and then nothing will come out for PlayStation 4.
that. And then we'll get 5. We'll get 5 on the
We'll
way
get
back.
5, yeah. It's crazy.
I wanted to ask you. Hang on. The Chris Buck point I wanted to make.
Yes. Shout out to Chris Buck.
He sent me a bunch of tapes from when we would do. I would always ask him to film my set when we would do the open mic back in Jacksonville. And I went back like probably 6 months ago and rewatched some of them. And because I'm like, oh, that was a good premise. Like, why didn't I keep that? And the difference between me 6 years ago and then the 4 years I've lived in New York.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like, it's a massive.
It's crazy.
Because if you would have taken the stuff I did in 2009, like when I first started doing open mics, and then the stuff I did in 2019 before I moved to New York, you'd be like, oh, well, it's like you wrote more jokes, but it's a lot of the same kind of style.
Yeah.
But if you take the stuff from 2021 when I moved to New York to now, you're like, oh, this is completely different.
It's totally. It almost and not to get too like technical. I don't know like if people
We can
like
talk
want
comedy
to
a
hear, like,
little bit,
technical
yeah.
comedy, whatever. But I really do think of it as like it's almost like AI, where in that like when you like make an AI, you like train it on all this, on all this feedback. So it's like
I tell ChatGPT all the time, I'm like, so if I wanted to do this, and they're like, well, you as a stand-up comedian living in New York.
Yeah, and it's I'm listening. I'm such a good whatever. But it is this thing of it's like stand up is a lot like AI because you have thousands and thousands of repetitions, and then based off of the feedback that you get, either positive or negative, you change stuff and whatever. So really, in a lot of ways, it's kind of like a trained AI because it's the same thing of it's like a mass quantity of stuff that gets trained on results.
Yeah.
But the thing about it is that like depending on where you are, you're gonna get trained a totally different way.
100%.
So it's like if I'm in the Village and I go up at all these kind of like not so good clubs, going up for really challenging audiences, my act is tuned to that kind of a situation. And so I'm always curious to think about like, just like what is actually gonna make the art that I think is the best. You know what I mean? Where it's like, I think that like, no, I don't know. I just like.
Well, it's an interesting concept because I've been going on the road a little bit this year, and it is interesting because you can tell comedy fans, and then you can tell people who are just out to have a fun night out.
Yeah.
and your act is dictated, like, you know, how my set goes is dictated from that because, you know, I'm a professional. I need to read the room. It's my job to get the crowd ready to rock and roll for the headliner. Like, that's my job.
Sure.
So I take it seriously in the sense where I'm like, I need to get laughs. So if I open with my like DUI stuff and getting arrested, doesn't matter how much you look like a cop, and like that stuff's not really playing, I'll pivot into like the hackier stuff that I have. Cause I have a whole like 20 minutes about working in restaurants and waiting on celebrities, but I'm very good at voices, but I don't like doing them because I think it's incredibly gross and disgusting and I hate it. But I'm good
Unless
at
you're
it.
like paraphrasing, reading a book about it. Yeah.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
No, but like on stage, like
Yeah, no,
I'm
I'm the
like, I'm
same
not
way.
doing.
I don't want to be voice guy.
Yeah, I don't exactly. I don't want to be impressions guy, which there's nothing wrong with it because some people are really good at it, but I just don't want to do that. That's not why I got into stand up. But if the crowd's like not digging like my very like leveled, because I have stuff where it's funny on the surface, but then if you've been through an experience like that, it's even funnier to you because you're like, oh, I've been there and now I'm out on the other side. A lot of my comedy is like that. But then I'll just start being like, I waited on the Terminator.
I know, it's
and then
so
it
easy.
crushes, and you're like,
like,
God damn it.
Yeah, I don't really want to be fucking Arnold Schwartz.
And so it's
I don't want to be the Schwartz on this one.
No.
I didn't want to be the Schwartz.
So it is interesting because the road, you kind of have to your point, it's like depending on what city you're in, like Denver are huge comedy fans. They love comedy. So they get a lot of the jokes, whether you do like the hacky version or not. But then you go to some places and you're like, oh, I got to be, if I want this crowd to even remotely laugh, I have to be straight hack.
Yeah.
And a lot of times I don't have that much material that would fall into that category. So a lot of times I have like 7, 8, maybe 12 minutes of that. And then I'm like, oh boy.
Yeah.
Hey, who wants to talk about rehab?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we've all been there. We've all been there.
Well, let's talk about it. So I always, because it's your first time on the show, I wanted to have you on the show for a while. We met probably a few years ago now. Yeah. Doing mics and stuff. You were all, and I'm just going to say this, full transparency on this podcast. I always looked at you as like one of the guys, because when I first moved here, you were already kind of like in it. You were already kind of like doing it. Because when you would come to mics, you already knew everybody. And you know, I'm much older than you. You know, I'm bigger than you, but it was still a very intimidating.
I'm older than you. I'm bigger than you. I'm stronger than you. I could pick you up if I wanted.
Nico. I could throw you out of the window.
I'm so big. I could. Yeah. Okay.
So
You're bigger than me. It's true. You're definitely
No, but it is one of those things where like I always like to phrase it that way because physically I'm pretty imposing, but I am such a little baby boy on the inside that I was genuinely like intimidated. Like, oh, this guy's like a guy in comedy. And that's genuinely what I thought.
At the Grizzly Pear open mic.
But still, like, knowing everybody and walking in, because I know how intimidating that can be. Like, my anxiety is so bad. When I first moved here, and still to this day, I'll go to mics that I've never been to before. I'll stand outside, and if I don't see a person that I know walk in, I'm like, oh, looks like I'm not going to this mic.
Yeah.
And I'll just leave.
Yeah.
And I'm fucking almost 40, and I'm still like,
that's crazy.
No, I'm not doing this.
Yeah. I'm that way, too. I think I don't like, I mean, I'm this really weird combination of, like, I am the most extroverted person that I know, where I'm like psychotically extroverted. Yeah. Where I just like I'll talk to strangers. I get on the train and I sit down and I go, how's your day going? And people go, and people go, what? And I go, just, I don't know, just wondering if we could have a chat right now. And they literally will be like, oh, I'm like, sorry, I can't, you know,
I can't hear you.
I can't hear. I'm, oh my God, my podcast is so loud. So I'm like, there's kind of that side of me, and then I'm also like, I'm the same way. I'm super anxious, very insecure all the time, and so I also go to mics and I'm like, I don't know anybody, and then it's this thing of like, well, I really want to be around people, and also I'm so anxious that I can't function right now. And what that equals is that I get on stage without having talked to anybody, and then I'm so anxious on stage that I do bad. Yeah. You know, it's like when I like, it's like I've been doing stand-up now 5 years and change, and I still get it go up in front of even a room of 4 people who I've never met before, and I'm like, I really hope they like me, but If the first joke doesn't go well for me in those scenarios, it's a disaster. It's a disaster. Because if I don't get them on the first one, and then if I don't get them on the second one, it's brutal, I panic. No, it's brutal. And then I remember we did a show in Hartford on the tour that I was on, and it was the second show. It was a late show. What a weird city. It was Hartford's
weird.
A crazy city.
Everyone was hammered. Well, not everyone. There was a bunch of people that were hammered, though. And as soon as the host introduced me, I came up to the stage and I said, what's up, everybody? Like Lance said, my name is Brennan Tassif. And someone just went, not funny. And I went, man. I panicked. Yeah. I had 25-minute was my set. I was doing 25 minutes.
You got a
And
not
I had-
funny before you even said a joke?
Yes. I literally
Oh.
said my name and someone went, not funny.
Oh, God.
And dude, I had done that same 25 minutes 7 or 8 times up to this point, and I always forgot to put in jokes. Like I always got the light and I was like, shit, I meant to do like this, this, and this, but I was having such a good time. Like
Yeah,
it just didn't.
It was like, didn't pan
I
out.
got through all of my material in 12 minutes.
Oh, my
That's how
God.
panicked I was. I remember
Wow.
looking at my watch going, I still have 13 minutes and I'm out.
Oh, my God.
And so I just started doing old material. I started doing material that it was bare, like half baked, that like I'd been trying at open mics.
Yeah.
I started just telling stories
Yeah.
about like getting arrested, being like, oh,
Oh.
maybe I'll just make this longer.
Oh, man.
Dude, so I understand what you're saying when it's like when you have that anxiety and then all of a sudden it just
It's so hard.
You're like, never mind.
Anxiety is crazy. Yeah, it will. It's stand up is hard.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it is one of those things where a lot of people, I've met people in my life who aren't anxious.
Yeah.
Like no medication, no nothing. They just aren't built that way.
Oh, man.
And I'm like, that's
Jealous.
nuts.
Yeah.
But it's also like I see it as like a superpower sometimes where it's like, yeah, sometimes I'll stay up till 3 or 4 in the morning to finish cutting clips because I'm so anxious about like, no, the episode has to come out on this
Yeah.
day with this clip,
Yeah,
with
I like
this
that.
stuff.
Justify it.
Yeah. And so it's like, yeah,
Anxiety is my superpower. I can do it.
Yeah.
I like this voice that we're going with.
Yeah, no, it's good. I've had this voice that I can't get enough of. I keep doing it, and no one really likes it, but I just can't stop doing it. I've been going, oh God, oh no,
Oh, no.
God,
Oh, God.
oh God, just like I can't stop doing. I don't know.
The scared little boy.
It's like it's like a guy. It's almost like a Mr. Bill type character,
Yeah.
where he's like constantly getting run over by like a train or something,
Yeah.
but not really feel like I imagine him just like with a taxi driving over his leg, and he's like, oh God, oh no, oh God. So been trying to figure out.
We're workshopping it.
And I'm like, yeah, I don't do voices. I don't do whatever.
I
but
love
yeah,
how,
but
like,
I-
10
yeah,
minutes
like,
ago we were
I love
both
it.
like,
I'm
yeah,
such a
it's
voices
incredibly-
guy. I love voices.
Well,
I can't get enough.
I will do them for I don't like impressions, I guess I should have said. I'll do them for characters and jokes. Like whenever I do my girlfriend, it's always like,
Oh my God, are you talking about me? Oh my God.
Yeah.
but and like I have voices for my sisters too and all that kind of stuff
Nice.
and in bits. But yeah, the impression thing I think is the thing I don't like to lean
Yeah, it's
on.
hard. It's hard to.
I remember my uncle one time because I could do the Joker. It's on YouTube. Guys should look it up. Brennan as Joker.
Yeah.
I used to do Heath Ledger's Joker really well, and my uncle was like, "You should totally like on stage have a conversation between Arnold Schwarzenegger and the Joker.
Oh,
that would
man.
be so
Oh, man.
hilarious."
The clicks,
And
the
I-
clicks on that are crazy.
This is before. This
it's
was
getting
like
clicks
7 years ago.
I'm clicking on it right now. I'm clicking
And I
on
was
that like crazy.
I would rather jump
Oh.
out of my apartment window.
Yeah, but you should just. I see. Sometimes I'm like, yeah, but just like once, just to
see if it
just for the
works.
clicks, dude. Because you know. Oh man, it's.
What they're
You know the
doing
clicks on
here.
that are crazy, dude.
Listen, so let's talk about you.
Want to know how I got these scars? Big knife.
hugest knife.
Hugest knife you've ever seen.
Oh, it was the biggest knife.
Yeah. all
Your
three of them.
father, you didn't like him.
Yeah, dream blunt rotation right there. My
Trump, Arnold, and Heath Ledger as the
and Heath
Joker.
Ledger's the Joker. Yeah.
Nah, he'd get spit all over that
Yeah, dude, that'd be
with
sick.
those fucking big lips. those,
Yeah.
like,
Oh, all
wide.
right. Okay.
So let's talk about you. How did
Okay.
you find? Okay, a couple of things. These are questions I always ask first time guests. When did you move to New York?
I moved to New York right at the tail end of the pandemic.
Okay, same. So
So-
so you would have just gotten here the same time I did.
Yeah. So pretty much spring 2021.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We moved in July of 2021.
Perfect.
So, did you move to New York for stand up?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Okay, and so now this is the question I like to ask every single guest, whether they're an actor, musician, comic,
Yeah.
because you're younger than me.
Yeah.
So I think I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask it anyway. How did you find stand-up comedy? Because
Yeah.
it is a niche thing. So how did you even find
Just
it?
also a great question to ask a musician. Just how did
How
you
did you
find
find
stand-up
music?
comedy?
I get what you did there.
Yeah, a little.
A little misdirect there.
Oh God!
Oh, I can't. There it is.
I don't know.
a
I think
callback.
I
Mark it.
My mom had like CDs of stand up in the car.
Okay.
And that was like my first.
Oh, so your
memory
mom
of
was, like,
doing
into it.
My mom was into it.
What
Yeah.
kind of CDs?
Mulaney, just all
Okay.
the Mulaney shit. I like
New in Town.
New in Town, that album, and then the one before it also, the
Yeah.
top part. I've listened to just hundreds of times.
Yeah. And then what was the point where you were like, oh, I want to try this? Because there is that jumping off point.
I always was like in my head, like comedy is what I want to do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I did like,
so you were exposed to it at an age
I was like
where-
a SNL kid.
Yeah.
You know, like watching all that, watching funny movies, funny TV stuff. I got really into Eric Andre, like really early. And then, I did like, they had like a thing at my school that was like, there were two defining memories in high school that I feel like really stuck as like a stand-up thing. The first thing is, I went to like a smaller school, kind of like a hippie high school.
Yeah.
And they did a thing where.
Where did you grow up?
In Boston.
Okay.
And they did a thing where, not every morning, but 3 mornings out of every week, a senior who was graduating that year would give a 15-minute talk.
Okay.
And so over the course of the whole year, you heard the whole senior class, every single person give like a 15-minute talk. So you started your day by like hearing someone be like, "Sun lit up the night as I woke up for my whatever," like every single day.
Is it so? When you
And-
say a 15-minute talk, is it on a specific topic, or
No,
is it they
whatever
just
they
get to
want.
run with it?
Literally
Okay.
whatever they want. And so for
God,
four-
I could not imagine like the theater geeks and stuff, and
what
the
was
English
crazy
people.
what was crazy about it, so for 4 years as like a 13-year-old through when I was like graduating high school, every single day I woke up and heard someone talk and like give a speech. And so I think like definitely like pretty quickly I was like I like liked that, you know, and that is, I mean, it's not a speech is different than stand up because it's whatever, but I just remember having a pretty good sense of being like, oh, I liked this, I didn't like this, I liked this, I didn't like this. Oh, because some of them were like, I mean, people, I heard all sorts of crazy shit.
I could
you
imagine.
know, I heard everything from like someone, because also it's like people's parents are there and they come, and so it's this wild dynamic.
It's like
where
a thing.
It's just, it's a wild thing where it's like I heard someone say like, I heard someone be like, admit to having tried to kill themselves. And their parents did not know.
Oh,
and
shit.
it was crazy. And everyone's like, oh my God. Like, what? It's like, okay, that's crazy. I heard
This
like
is a one-man show, Johnny. Wrap it up.
yeah, and people do like all kinds of theater people. I heard it was funny because there were hack things to do where it's like, I remember like people just being like, oh my God. The number of times I heard, "Mom, if I could grow up to just be half the woman you are, I'd be so good." The number of times, you know, it's like, and so I think like, when I was a senior, I tried to write it to be funny.
Okay.
And so I like wrote, that was like my first experience like writing a stand up.
Did it kill?
It did. I don't know. I mean, I did good, I think. Definitely like people were like, "Oh, it was so funny," whatever. I was so anxious about it that I blacked out.
Okay.
I don't remember it.
Are you doing it? Are they doing it like you walk into the principal's like the main office and like you hit the button on the thing and you're like,
No.
Attention.
It's everyone in the school in a big room.
Oh, fuck
And you
off.
go up in front of them
So
and
you were a kid when you said it's like a thing.
It's a thing.
So everyone piles into the auditorium
Everyone piles in
3 mornings out of the 5.
3 mornings out of the 5, and listens to a 16-year-old say whatever the fuck they want for 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I did.
I'm getting anxious just thinking about
No,
this.
it was crazy. And on top of that, it's like, imagine stand up, but you also are like a virgin and your crush is there. Like, it's like, okay, I'm like, and your teachers who are gonna, it's literally like a nightmare.
Yeah.
But that was definitely
Just thinking
like,
of that scene in Crazy Stupid Love when Steve Carell's son goes to give the valedictorian speech of like his 6th grade class or 5th grade class, and he's like, "Love isn't real," and you're like, all the parents are like, "What?"
yeah, well, you do. It's literally exact. Where it's like the number of moments where I was like, people would just say things like, what are you talking about?
Jennifer, I love you.
Literally, it was crazy. And yeah, that's really was like the first like formative moment of like, okay,
Standing in front of people trying to be funny.
Yeah, and it didn't. I remember it not going super well, but that was definitely, I was like, oh, this is like what I want to do.
Yeah.
And then there was also like every year the seniors put on like effectively like a SNL type of thing, like a class SNL, and it was kind of like the end of the semester secret show for all the under
Okay.
whatever. It was just like cool. It was just cool, like, and my friend and I like hosted that. We were like the hosts of the show, and that was the second moment where I was
And you were
comedy
like,
is
"Oh, I'm doing this."
And I think we did 4 hours of material.
shit.
We did some unbelievable. Where I remember the first 45 minutes, like murder. I remember it murdering and just being like, we're amazing. And then I remember there being a moment
on air.
I remember there being a moment when like there was a teacher that was in charge of like effectively producing, who had been like, yeah, you can say this, you can't say that, whatever. And I remember just going up to her and her being like, you got to cut like a lot, because we're like, it's been an hour and a half and we're like, and there's like, you have a lot more stuff. So
so were you and your partner going up in between like the sketches?
yeah, so we wrote, well, there were sketches that like happen every year.
Yeah.
Like there was like a it's called Boy Band, where it's like 4 or 5 of like the hot guys put together like a dance, and it's like a really sexual dance.
Yeah.
And then everyone's just like, yeah, like, because we're all just so horny that it's like,
Yeah, you're in high
Oh
school.
my God!
yeah, oh god. Yeah, everyone like, there were all these kind of established things that happen every year at this show, but we were in between it, and we also wrote sketches for it, and we also
Damn, so you really took on the whole thing.
yeah, well, yeah, and it was kind of a thing where it was like the class votes on who gets to do it, and so my friend and I were like, we really want to do it, and then they voted for us to do it. Like we didn't just like take initiative.
No,
and
you were just like, we have the backing of the whole student body.
We were chosen to be
Yeah.
the people who hosted it, and then we just abused that power so much. I'll never forget. I remember I had a sketch that I pitched that was as follows. It's everyone gets into a kiddie pool, and then we dump milk on them, and that was like the idea. But then basically the people who are from the school were like, you can't, like, there's no milk allowed in like
Yeah.
in our the student theater thing. So you got to figure out something else. So I changed it to cotton balls, and so then there was no twist or whatever. It was just that, and I roped 3 of my friends into doing this.
I could just see you being like, don't stifle my creativity. This is genius.
Well, I just remember being like, isn't that funny? Isn't that funny? And I remember people being like, I don't totally get it. And I was like, no, you gotta see it, and it's gonna crush. And that we did that. Where there was a segment where we put everyone in there, and they were all also for some reason in their underwear too. It was like a very horny show, but they were just in their underwear, and yeah. Then we dumped cotton balls on them, and everyone was kind of like, What?
Yeah.
and then 4 more hours of show.
So after all this stuff happens, did you go to college?
I did go to college.
So where did you go to college at?
I went to college to Bowdoin in Maine. Maine, yeah.
Okay. So when you go to college, in the back of your head, are you thinking like, I'm just doing this because this is what I'm supposed to do, but I'm going to do comedy?
In the back of my head, so in high school, I was very jack of all trades, kind of like I was a school guy, and then I did music, and then I played sports, and I did comedy stuff. And
what sports did you play?
I played soccer,
Okay.
and I played frisbee.
I thought you were going to say soccer.
Yeah.
You're built for soccer.
Yeah, I wish I could have been good. I was really bad.
Oh,
but
really?
yeah, it's really, really bad. But it was one of those ones where I would like try out for the team every year, and senior year, and I was always the third. I didn't varsity, JV, and I was the third one.
Yeah.
I was always third for every year, and then senior year, the coach was just like, "Hey man, like you're not gonna play, but do you want to do it?" And I was like, "Yeah."
We'll give you a letter.
Yeah, I was like, "I'll do it." And so I played varsity my senior, but I didn't
Fuck
play at
yeah.
all. There was one time I played in one game when we were winning like 8-0 or something like
geez,
that.
that's a huge score in soccer.
And they put me in, and then I got scored on so many times that they took me back out. I was a defender, and I was just getting nutmegged and turn whatever.
That's like in Mighty Ducks when they're up 8-0, and then he's like, "Hey, if you call this game now, we can all get home in time for Melrose." And then the other team just comes back, and they're like, "What the fuck just happened?"
Yes, dude, literally that.
They put you in, and then all of a sudden, everyone's like, "Wait, what's going on?"
Yeah. So basically I got to college, and I was kind of like, I want to really like do something really like intensely.
Yeah, focus on one thing.
I decided to do music.
Okay.
So I basically like, I'm a drummer, and I just like, I don't know. I was like, my thought was like, I know I probably don't want to be a professional musician. I'm pretty sure that's not what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
But I spent like, I did a summer semester at Berklee College of Music before I went to college.
Okay.
And when I was there, I was like really glad that I didn't have to go to that school, because people were not very fun. But
Yeah.
I got there, and I was kind of like, man, everyone around me is so talented. I feel like there's kind of a window of like when I have to put my hours in for like being good to be good at music.
Yeah, you have to put in the
And
work.
so
yeah.
like I definitely felt like, you know, I was pretty good at like whatever, like science and all that stuff. So I kind of had this feeling of like, you know, if I like in 20 years decide I want to be an engineer or something, that's something I can figure out and do. And I felt like with music, it was like, if I in 10 years from now, I'm like, I want to be a professional musician, I'll be so
far
behind.
That's what happened to me
that I can't do it
with stand up.
And so I, for all of college, I was like music.
Yeah.
And then
Damn, so you probably rip on the drums.
for the amount of work that I put in, I am so bad.
But compared to like other people,
compared to someone who hasn't,
like if I just jump behind the drums and I was like, yeah, bang, 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 bang.
I would look like I was, but
Yeah.
but to anyone who's like, for anyone who has played, who is like has practiced,
who's in music.
anyone, but it's, yeah, anyone who practices, I'm like, it's crazy how bad for the amount of work that I put
Yeah.
in. It's crazy how like
I get
fine
that a
I
lot
am.
with athletics, where it's like, yeah, if I go, because I've been out of football for over a decade, but
Yeah.
it's like, yeah, people want to like go throw the ball around. They'd be like, damn, man, like you still got it.
Yeah.
But then if I actually went out to like a competitive flag football
Yeah.
league, I'd be the worst person out there.
Dude, yeah, well, it's crazy. Well, because it is just like in music, there is such a thing of like there just are some people who practice and some people who don't,
Yeah.
and it's amazing how many people don't.
Well,
It's-
there's some people who are just gifted in certain areas, and music is one of them. I know I had shout out Desmond Lee, very funny.
Shout out Desmond Lee.
comic in New
now
York.
that's a name I can get behind. Now
He,
that's a name I can get behind.
But he said he was a chef for a long time.
Yeah.
And I remember he told a story about getting to New York, working at this Michelin star restaurant. And there was like this 19-year-old kid, and he just looked at him and he was like, "This guy is so good." And he's barely started.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't know if I have the like gusto to like try and keep up with
Yeah.
that. Which I'm sure it's the same in music. I'm sure you could get like if you're in a room practicing with a bunch of people, you could look at a guy who's like 17 and be like, fuck, man, that guy's got it.
I mean, like I think like yes and no. I definitely think there's cases of people where like they just are built to do something.
Yeah.
You know, but at the same time, like I think that, and this applies to like any art form, stand up, music, whatever, literally anything. I really do think that there's just a hidden number of hours behind it. Even the fucking 17-year-old kid that you see playing that you go, holy shit, that kid's 17 and he's already improvising over fucking Bach's,
Yeah.
over John Coltrane Giants. How is he already? He's playing all this stuff I don't even never heard of it. That he's playing music I never heard of.
Yeah.
Like that kid has still been playing for like 11 hours a day since he was 3.
Yeah,
you
that's
know?
true. That's a very good point. Yeah.
And I think that like even if it's not like deliberate like practice, like I don't know, I think there's obviously talent is totally a thing and like that's for sure present, but I just think you don't like
Because we do see the opposite a lot. Like we
Yeah.
know plenty of people who've been doing comedy for a long time, and we'll see them at shows and be like, "How are you still this
how
bad?
have you not given up yet?
Yeah, like how are you still doing this?"
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess it can go both ways. So for you, you go to college in Maine. Are you doing anything stand-up related while you're there?
So I did. I auditioned for they had like a sketch group that was like the Saturday Night Live
Yeah.
sketch group. I didn't get into that.
Okay.
And then I did like improv
Okay.
from like not the first year I was there, but from like sophomore year on, I did the improv.
Okay, and then you finish college, and then you immediately are like, "I'm coming to New York."
Yeah.
Damn.
So I finished college, and then I was whatever. I was home for a bit for the pandemic.
Yeah.
And then I lived in Portland, Maine for a little bit, and then I moved to New Rochelle, New York for a
Okay,
little
I
bit.
know New Rochelle. That's
Yep,
where my
I was there.
girlfriend's grandma lives.
And then after that, I moved to New York. Yeah.
Okay, and so when the time, because obviously you were graduating college and doing all that stuff, and there was COVID, the pandemic, that whole thing. So I'm assuming you're not like going out and getting up. When was the time where you were like, this is the, like we talked about earlier, you were going to hyper focus in on music during
Yeah.
college. When was the time where you're like, I'm hyper focusing in on comedy?
Was
Was that New Rochelle? Was that when you got to New York?
Yeah, well, I did. I mean, I did a little bit of comedy in Boston.
Okay.
Before the pandemic happened, but not enough to be like I was like doing it.
Yeah.
But my idea was always like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do, and then I honestly did a lot of Zoom comedy.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
I-
no,
and
hey, no shame in that game.
No, I'm wear it proudly. I think that like I don't know, people as a place to start doing comedy. I think Zoom was actually a really good place to start.
Yeah, because as someone who had done comedy for a while and then did a couple Zoom shows, I was like, oh, this. But that's because I was so used to the other
Exactly, yeah.
thing. You had no point of reference.
Exactly. And so it was like I kind of got to fall in love with comedy twice.
Yeah.
Where it was like I started doing it, I was like, oh, this is fucking awesome. And then I obviously then did it in real life, and I was like, oh, this is
awesome.
awesome. You know.
So I wanted to ask you, and because you said in high school you were kind of a jack of all trades, were you like you went to a smaller high school? Were you like a real popular kid? Were you like going to parties and stuff like that?
No, everyone. There were I would say 20 kids who
The hot
partied.
kids, the boy
hot
band
kids
kids?
who partied, and everyone else was like a homework dweeb person.
Okay, so when was the first time you like actually drank?
The first time I actually drank was my senior year of high. Well, I'd like tried alcohol before, whatever, like family.
Yeah. Okay.
You know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
the
get
first
it.
time trust me.
You have a very common Italian last name. I know how you guys do
Yeah.
things.
Yeah, it's like
Give
it's
him
like
a glass of wine with dinner.
Yeah, at dinner and at lunch and at whatever. But yeah,
Little limoncello.
dude, my grandma would get so hammered. It's crazy. That was like my first memory of like anyone drinking was my grandma drinking just drinking an entire bottle of wine by herself. And just getting bless her soul, she was like amazing, but she would not get like fun drunk. It wasn't like
really?
It wasn't like oh now grandma's getting crazy. It was like okay, grandma drank a whole bottle of wine and is crying about fucking
Nobody comes to see her.
Yeah, crying. Yeah, lots of like hard stuff in her life, and so she would
Yeah.
just get drunk and then weep.
It's like
and
that
then
scene.
weep
Did
about.
you ever see Wedding Crashers?
I have seen it, but I
It's
don't
like
know
the
what
old
you're-
grandma in that one where she's like drunk and she's like Eleanor Roosevelt, big lesbian,
Yeah.
giant lesbian mule. And they're like,
Yeah.
I think it's time for her to put Nana to bed.
Yeah, well, that sounds fun. That sounds fun. You know, this was she would get sad and quiet, and it was like, oh damn, he's like
That's so bad.
Yeah, it was brutal. But yeah, first time I got drunk was like prom, senior year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, so you waited for like a big moment.
Yeah, well, I was like, I had friends that were like drinking and smoking earlier, but I remember just being like, they'd like invite me to come and smoke. Because I had friends at my high school and I had friends also at my like best friend growing up. Our moms were in the same like mother's group. So
Okay.
we've been friends since we were literally like babies.
Yeah.
But so I was always through my whole like kid life friends with his friends too, even though we like lived in different towns and went to
Yeah.
different schools. And so I remember him. He was the first person who was like, "Hey, like, we're gonna like go try smoking weed. Do you want to like join?" And I always was like, "I'm not for me today." Like, so sorry, can't make it, but it sounds really cool. You know, I just remember doing that. And but my first experience like drinking was definitely senior. We were in the basement of Nick Ornstein's house.
Shout out Nick.
Nick Ornstein's house.
Are you gonna text me in an hour and be like, take out his name?
And I mean, I don't know. I don't think probably not. He
Okay.
just- yeah.
Shout out Nick Ornstein.
Yeah, shout out Nick Ornstein. And it was me and like our three friends.
Yeah, this
and
was like 10, 15 years ago,
It
10
was
years
just
ago.
kind of.
This
It was
is-
kind of a. It was kind of like you know the opening of Superbad.
Of course.
Where they're like fucking getting drunk, watching porn, and
Yeah.
like doing that. It was that, but like so much tamer. Where it was like we had I think 6 beers amongst for the like 5 of us. And they weren't. We didn't get them. We just like found them.
Yeah.
They were IPA flat tires.
Oh, that's a lot.
And so we drank.
That's a heavy beer to start
Yeah,
with.
but I just remember drinking it and being like, "This is gross.
Yeah.
This is really not a good, whatever." But,
This is
yeah.
not a good time.
Yeah, and we were like, "Yeah, we had ping pong. It was like ping pong and flat tires. It's kind of
That actually sounds like a great
dude.
night
Exactly.
now.
It's like a great. It's a great. We had like a killer drinking night for like whatever
a 37-year-old
a
group of
37-year-old
dudes,
dude. Yeah. But yeah, so that was pretty good. Yeah. Down in the
So when
basement.
what happened with prom?
prom
Was that like a super bad?
so this was after prom.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I wasn't even drunk at prom. At prom I was sober.
Oh, okay.
And I was just
So wait, I'm sorry. Is this the same night as prom? Like everyone goes
this
to
is
prom.
after. This is
Then
the
you all
after,
go
this is
meet
the
up
after
at the
party.
house.
This is
Okay,
the
got
afters.
it. I'm
yeah.
tracking now.
This is the afters. Yeah.
This is the after party.
This is the after
Flat
party.
tires and ping pong.
Flat tires and ping.
Were there any girls there, or was it just the 5
No,
guys?
no, but there was, but at one point I'll remember. This is
Best post prom ever.
this is such a high
Send the
schooly.
chicks home.
This is such a high schooly story. There was a girl that wanted to hook up with one of my friends, and I think she like came and drove. She like picked him up in her car. And then he left and we didn't come. He didn't come back. But that was like the one we were all like, "Let's go!"
Yeah, gas of the homies,
Yeah,
man.
exactly. Yeah.
So then, when did you do you recall the first time where you got like hammered?
Probably
I would assume college.
No, it was that. No, I 1.5
flat
one and a
tires.
half
and I
flat
was
tires.
out.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we did like we had like a senior week.
Yeah.
And I drank at senior week.
Okay.
I remember being drunk at senior week.
Because it's always curious to me when I meet people who like, especially like going into the episode, you were like, hey, I don't have like a ton of stories, and I always find that curious because in my head, the way my brain works, and with all the people that I've had on the show, and with my own life experience, I always think like, well, everyone's got like that story of like, yeah, I got so I've even had people on the show who've only drank 2 or 3 times in their life, and that's because they got so drunk. So it's so fascinating to me when I meet someone who's like, yeah, I'll have a couple of beers here and there, but then I just kind of go home, and I'm always like so jealous.
I don't know, and maybe it's just I'm on my way to a rock bottom that will eventually. That's totally
I think you're
possible.
skating through it, man.
I'm doing okay.
I think you're pretty good.
I've browned out a couple. I've never really blacked out.
Okay.
And
which is so bananas to me because every time I drank it was to get blacked out.
Yeah,
So when I meet people who are like, yeah, no, I remember most of it all pretty well.
And then I've only thrown up a handful of times.
Yeah.
But I think I can just like I can hold my liquor pretty well.
Yeah.
Like but yeah, the one time I remember throwing up in college was there was an improv hang.
Oh,
and
that gets wild.
And it was
not even being facetious.
It was also like the people that did comedy in my college were all like awesome. They were all really, really funny.
Yeah.
And like I think like on par with or funnier than a lot of the professional comedians that I know now.
Yeah.
And so those like were like the most fun parties because it was just like small group, everyone's like really good friends. We're just like whatever. And one of the an older comic in the group had made some kind of like jungle juice thing. But it wasn't like a traditional jungle juice. It was like pineapple juice.
Okay.
And I think it was just pineapple juice and tequila.
Okay,
but
that's
like
not
lot
a
of
traditional
tequila.
jungle juice at all.
And it was in like a pasta pot.
Yeah.
And so we were just like passing this pasta pot around.
Labeling
like,
it?
No, not even.
Just drinking out of the pot?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah,
what do you
yeah,
mean you
like
don't have these stories?
yeah.
That's an insane thing.
And I just remember
just backwashing everybody?
Yeah.
Ah!
I just remember at a certain point being like, oh, like I didn't drink a lot, but I remember being like, oh wow, I'm like really drunk.
Yeah.
And then I like saw myself out, threw up in the bathroom, politely threw up, didn't even really make a mess, but I remember like wiping up a little bit on the whatever, flushing the toilet, and then like brushed my teeth really quickly, and then like came back, and no one even really knew that.
That's an awesome way to do it. That's
how
a gentleman way to do it.
I mean, that's how I'm real quiet.
Yeah.
You wouldn't know that if I was sick, you wouldn't.
See, because I can't stand the people at parties that, and I'm sure you've dealt with these kind of people, and we deal with them in comedy sometimes. We all have that like friend that like who gets hammered and goes to an open mic, and you're like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
And there's like sloppy, and they're like throwing up, but they're throwing up like way too loud.
I don't know anyone
dramatic.
who's throwing up at an open mic. Do you know people that are? That's got to be a Jacksonville thing.
That's
got to be a
more
Jacksonville
of a Florida thing. Yeah, I have met. Because the cool thing about New York is when people move here for comedy, it's because we take it pretty seriously. So a lot of times it's good. There was one guy, you probably know who I'm talking about. I can't even remember his name. He was a guy, like a Southern guy, and he was showing up to a lot of open mics. And it was okay. We're all like at that, like whatever. But then I remember he was gone for a little while. And then he came back, and I saw him at 3 separate mics over the course of a month, and he was blackout drunk at all 3.
Fire.
And I was like,
fire.
What's going on with this guy?
What a bad place to be blackout drunk. Because it's one thing if you're in Jacksonville and you're going to the open mic, there's people there.
Yeah.
There's people there. It's like a nighttime thing,
Yeah.
whatever. If you're blackout at 4 p.m. at the comedy shop, what are you doing?
It was at Greenwich Village at the 3 o'clock mic.
Oh,
he was
my
hammered.
God, what
and
are
he
you
got up
doing?
and just talked shit about like the comedy scene of New York, which is the comedy scene. You know what I mean? He was just like, the booker of the stand won't even talk to me. And we're like,
okay.
yeah, don't talk to any of us
You're
either.
hammered. You're also like, I'm the most professional guy here.
And then I remember, because I hang out at the Stand in the Cellar because it's right in between my restaurant. I remember going to the Stand one night, like in that month period, and he was like stumbling out, like getting kicked out. And I was like, what is happening?
Man. Yeah, that's not a good look.
Yeah, but so that's like people in comedy and entertainment in general can get after it. What was going on with the VMAs? You said ask you about the VMAs.
I snuck into the VMAs.
Okay,
In
when
the
did
after
this
party.
happen?
This was.
Was this in New York?
This was in New York.
Okay.
So
this was recently, within the last 5 years.
Yeah, this was probably 8 months ago, 9 months ago
Okay.
at this point.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Like those VMAs.
The VMAs.
The ones that just happened.
The after party for the VMAs, yeah. And we snuck in, and me and my friend Victoria, who's like awesome. And
how did you take us through it? I
so
love little details.
So we were she just knew someone, I think, and like wasn't invited, but knew where it was and kind of what.
This is the after party.
This is the after party.
Okay.
And we just got to the door and talked to the bouncer and like managed to.
What's going through your head? Because you've openly said you're an anxious person. Are you like, I don't want to do this?
Well, first
this
of all,
crazy?
I didn't know it was the VMA after party. I didn't know. I was like, because I love, again, psychotically extroverted.
Yeah.
I get off stage and I go dancing by myself.
Yeah.
I go out. I'm out every night. And so I'm like, okay, another night with Victoria. Let's go
do it.
Let's go see what's going on, whatever. And also her friend Jade was there as well. So it was like me and them two. And we get to the door and we're like, we know this person. And the bouncer's like, oh, okay, yeah, let me check. And we're like, oh, yeah, sure, whatever. And we kind of talked our way in. And it also definitely helped that they're both like hot girls.
Yeah.
So it was like, and I was kind of like in like I wore like a stupid like fashion outfit. So I looked like I probably had sunglasses on.
It's so funny because hearing you say that as comedians, we would have torn you apart for wearing it.
Obviously.
But you were smart enough to be like, I'm gonna get a little dressed up.
It's like you gotta look like you belong.
Yeah,
and that you're like
100%.
a going out kind of guy.
Dude,
you know,
anywhere.
Like,
it does not even going out. Anywhere in life, you should dress for how you want to be treated.
Yeah,
at that.
fit in exactly.
Yes.
Copy exactly where you are. Never express yourself individually.
100%.
Do exactly what the group says.
Hey, when I used to go to court, I'd wear a full suit. I'd walk into the courtroom and they'd be like, "Counselor, right this way," and it's like, "No, I'm a defendant."
Yeah.
Dress for the job.
Dress for the job you want. So I whatever that we got in. And
were you freaking out? Oh, because you still
no, because I didn't know. I was just like,
when did you find out?
Well, so I walk in and I'm like, club. I was like, it's awesome. We're in a club. You know, I was so excited. There's like the music is pretty good. People are just very like, kind of like standing still, and I'm like, oh man, the vibe in here is weird, right? I go to the bar and I'm like, let's like do a shot or whatever. And because I'd drank before, because I went to a club and I'm like, because I was like, everything in New York is so expensive.
Yeah.
You can't drink at the club. Are you kidding?
Dude.
But I was like, it's cool that we got in. I'll buy like one shot and then
$130 later.
No, well, so exact because I walked in. I was like, this is the most expensive bar ever.
Yeah.
But Victoria got me in, so I was like, I owe you a drink. Let me like get you something. So I go to the bar. I'm like, hey, like, could I have like whatever 2 tequila shots? And the bartender's like, yeah, of course, whatever. Give us whatever. And then I go to give her my card, and she goes, oh, no, it's open bar. And I went, I'll take another. I'll take another, right? And so then she's like, I'm like, what? It's open? I'm like, really? And she's like, yeah, it's open bar. I was like, oh, okay. All right. So I like take the shot, and I felt like I was stealing because open bar in New York. Are you fucking kidding me? I've seen that twice in 5 years. I've never seen it. So I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. So I'm like, Victoria, it's like open bar. And she's like, oh yeah. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then the moment when I was like VMAs was like, I turn around and I look and it's Post Malone. And I turn to Victoria and I go, that's Post Malone. And she's like, oh yeah, this is like the VMA after party. I'm like, what? That's crazy. So all of a sudden I'm all like, okay, like we're whatever. I got my sunglasses.
We're in here.
I'm like,
got the
whatever,
sunglasses on. We're having a good time.
And I saw,
dude, that's fucking awesome.
It was crazy, and it was interesting because the music was so good.
Yeah,
the music was so because the VMA. And I remember being like, I saw Post Malone like the VMAs. I was like, that's why the music is so good. I'm like, they hired a good because the music in New York is always terrible.
Yeah,
everywhere you go, it's always terrible. I don't know what they're thinking, but the music is so good. I'm like, oh my God, this is like whatever. So I'm having a fun time. And the two memories that I remember like whatever is the first one is I tried to have a conversation with Quavo's bodyguard, and Quavo's bodyguard, just to paint you a picture, is probably 100 feet tall and just the buffest. Like you're like I'm big, whatever. This guy is huge.
Yeah,
this is like just a mountain of a
if
guy.
I'm big, this guy's gigantic.
He's standing in the corner, kind of not making eye contact with anyone. He's got
looking at everyone.
He's got a huge blunt and this like really like wild gold chain. And so he's there and he's just whatever and just towering above everyone. And I walked up to him and I was just like, hey man, cool chain. and he pretended to not see me. he pretended he fully just kept whatever, and then I was like, oh, okay, like, yeah, man, nice, cool, whatever. Continues to ignore me, and then Victoria comes up, and because Victoria had saw me like trying to have this conversation, and was like, I'll like come in with the assist, and she's Victoria is beautiful, and like beautiful hot girl, and goes and is like, hey man, like, can I have a hit of your joint? And he just goes, nah, and then we were like, okay. And then we stood there in like silence for a moment and then walked away. And it was so awesome. It was like literally one of my favorite experiences I've ever had. The other crazy thing is we're all dancing, right? There's like, well, most people are not dancing, but I'm dancing because that's like
that's
the
what
music.
you do.
Well, it's like the music is good. I'm going to dance, you know? So I'm dancing.
That's the name of this episode.
And I'm
gonna dance.
I'm gonna dance. So I'm dancing, and as I'm dancing, these two girls there, and they're also kind of dancing. One of the girls has this like big white T-shirt on, big like kind of a cool oversized white T-shirt,
Yeah.
and the other girl is very like very like cool like just like spiky stuff, studded spiky stuff.
Yeah.
And the studded spiky girl walks up to me, pushes me, goes, dance battle. I'm like, all right, you're on. So then we have this dance battle where I'm like, oh, like whatever.
Can you
And
dance?
I mean,
dance
I
like
can,
that?
not enough for a dance battle.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'll
This is
dance.
music all over again.
I'll dance, but I'm not like the losers of the dance battle was everyone watching.
Yeah.
That for sure, you know. But so I'm whatever, and I dance, and we have this crazy dance, and you know, it's like,
You did a dance battle at the VMAs.
I dance battled this girl, and then she and her friend like run off, and then my friend's like, "Yo, do you know who that was?" And I was like, "No." And she was like, "That girl in the white T-shirt, that was Halsey."
Get the fuck
And
out
I
of
was
here.
like, "What? That's crazy." And so I didn't dance battle Halsey, but I dance battled Halsey's like whatever,
Friend,
like
yeah.
friend, yeah. Who then I googled and was like a
Professional
big, famous,
dancer?
professional 100 million follower, one of
Yeah.
those like super famous whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's sick. So,
Dude,
yeah.
that's nuts.
Yeah, so that was the VMA, but I wasn't like, I was never. What's interesting is that was never like drinking was never the focal point of that
Yeah.
night, you know, to like loop it back to the theme of the like where it's like, okay, it's like I had this like crazy experience where I was like, that's insane, that's like what a crazy story.
Yeah.
And I think that tequila shot was the only drink that I had besides like a couple
But
drinks before.
you don't need it when you're doing it in that kind of.
Yeah, well, it's weird. It is weird. It's this thing. It's like, you know, it's like you drink sometimes and it makes you feel really awesome, and then sometimes it doesn't, and then sometimes I'm just like, I don't know if I feel anxious about drinking. You know?
I see. I honestly thought it was going to go the other way. When she goes, no, it's open bar. I thought it was going to go.
I'm gonna get a ham. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, it just.
So that's what I mean when I was talking about earlier. Like, good on you for being like, no, actually, this is a really cool experience. I just want to enjoy this experience.
I mean, I think I was.
Dr. Quavo's bodyguard.
I think I was immediately in a place of like, oh, this is a place where if I said the wrong thing to the wrong person, I could totally fuck something up for myself.
Yeah.
So I was like, I gotta be sharp.
Yeah. Well, and it's fascinating too because I've gone to some of the after parties at the stand because you know you get to know some of the people that work there and they'll just be like, yeah, say this at the door, they'll let you in.
Yeah.
Because it's always some weird password.
Yeah.
And then you go up to the bouncer and you go like platypus.
Yeah, and they're
he's
like,
"All
well,
right,
come on in.
yeah, come on in. Here's your wristband.
Yeah.
And it's so interesting because the people who you would want to talk to, like the higher level comedians and like people, are normally fucking obliterated. And then all the people like at my level are like relatively sober, just trying to like suck all of their dicks.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
And I'm like, I don't want to be. This sucks.
yeah. Have you been to the SNL party before?
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
Yeah, the SNL party sucks, man.
Yeah.
That party sucks.
So bad.
That party is so bad because it's like I've been to it a couple times, and every time I go, it's like not like a. First of all, there's no one. I never walk in and see. I want to walk in and see Kenan Thompson like. Bah, bah.
Yeah.
That's never what it is.
Never.
It's
what it
never
is.
that. You
Never.
walk in, and it's like the most like B-list Instagram people. Everyone is such an Instagram person, and they're looking through you. And it's always like it's a bad party.
It's just a weird. Yeah. It's a
bad
weird
party.
vibe.
Yeah.
Because there are times, and this is what's frustrating. Because now. And I've joked about this with other people, like who I know who are also sober, where I'm like, man, if I was drinking, like if I started drinking today, I would be a disaster because I'd get hammered and like go into the cellar and be
Yeah.
like, Esty, what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
And I'm like, that would be a total nightmare. But it is interesting because I've gone through all those experiences, so I know that about myself. It's so wild to just, even if it's not like a party, just to go to like some of the clubs and see some of the people like at my level who just drink a little too much.
Yeah.
And then they're like bursting into conversations with like,
Really?
like Ari Shaffir and Shane Gillis
Yeah,
and
you're
these
like,
people.
Yeah, you look crazy right
And
now.
they're like, hey, what's up, man? And you're like, that's not how this works.
And what's crazy too
Pump
is
the
that
brakes.
I can be that awkward without alcohol.
Yeah,
I don't need.
me
I walk in.
too.
I'm walking into. Oh my god, the worst. Oh my god. Oh, I almost don't even want. I'm gonna tell the story and then I'm gonna decide after if I want you to keep it.
It'll
in,
be
all
the
right?
last story, so I'll know where to edit.
Okay,
it.
so I went to.
Hang on a second. I'm sober now. Like I don't do that shit anymore. I still do that shit.
Yeah.
Completely sober.
Yeah. So I guess drink.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
Dude, thank you so much for coming
Dude,
on.
thank you for having
Plug
me.
everything before we get out of here.
Yeah, 100% Nico on all the socials.
Spelt out.
Buy Deception Stones. Go to deceptionstones.com and buy that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening at Brennan T. Comedy on all social media, BrennanTComedy.com. I'll be in Denver in September, so check me out there and then all around New York. Later.